guys, and welcome to the first snow day of the year. So I'm here at my parents' and it's snowing. It's the first proper snow we've had obviously this year because it's only the second today. But yeah, it's like we've not had proper snow in a while, so I'm very excited. And today I'm going to be showing you what we do with our horses when it snows and giving you a bit of a vlog today. Obviously we can't do a huge amount in the snow, but what we do is leave some of the horses out. These guys are going to come in later and I'll show you their routine.
So as I mentioned, the three native ponies, so Caramel, Taffy and Chilli, they all stay out normally without rugs on, even when it's snowing like today, because as I said, they're natives, they have really thick coats. Danny's actually out with a rug on because he is a Warmblood and he's not a native, so his coat isn't quite as thick. So the three ponies were absolutely loving it in the snow. It was so pretty today with the massive flakes that were coming down. It was just so nice to see the horses outside enjoying being out in the snow. So here's little Caramel, and at this point it was really coming down, like the flakes are absolutely huge when I was filming her. And the horses, at first when it started snowing, were quite excitable, but by this point they sort of settled down a bit and were just grazing through the snow. So then I headed over to Danny's paddock to see how he was getting on, and he was firmly in his field shelter. Danny is not a massive fan of the cold and being outside, so he was just munching on his hay in his field shelter, just trying to keep warm and dry, but he did come out to say hello for a little bit.
Hey.
And then I headed over to see what Taffy was up to. Now Taffy loves being outside. He really doesn't like being in the stable. If you know previously, he's quite claustrophobic and he can be quite funny about being inside, but he has got used to being in a stable in like the later years of his life because he's getting quite old now. He's about 30 odd, so he's quite an old boy. And even though he is an old boy, Taffy manages to keep his weight quite well in winter, which is why he doesn't need rugging up or feeding up. So to say that he is quite, you know, an older citizen now, he's doing really well for his age. So then I headed over to see Chilli, aka Mr. Chunk, and as you can see, he is rocking the woolly mammoth look at the moment. He genuinely looks like no one's pony. He is very messy and very muddy, but that's just the way he likes to be. No matter how much we groom him, he always ends up looking like this. And he was just waiting for his food, as always, because we all know he's a bit of a fatty and just wants to eat constantly. So the plan for today would have been nice to have had a nice ride in the snow, but our arena was completely frozen. It's been getting down to about -2, -3 on an evening, because we are quite out in the open. It does get very cold, so our arena was unfortunately frozen. So no riding today, guys, but that would have been nice to ride in the snow.
Okay, so ignore the fact I look like a drowned rat, because it is flipping cold out there, and even though the snow looks really pretty, I forget that you get soaked wet. So I thought I'd come in and show you the horses that are inside. So we have Mr. Chilli Pepper here. Now these were out this morning before I arrived, but Mr. Chilli has been brought in because he's been very naughty. So basically he gets very excited when it snows, and so he was prancing about in his field, fell over, and he's already lame because he's had a hock injury. Again, we think from falling over in his field, because he can be a bit of an idiot out there. Yes, you can, don't shake your head. So that's why he's in the stable. And then to keep him company, we have Miss Lucy over here. So these two have come in and escaped the snow, so they're just tucking into their hay nets. We will be shortly bringing the other horses in, because obviously it's quite wet and cold, and they don't have rugs on because they have got their full fur coats, so that's why they don't have rugs on. So yeah, they'll be coming in shortly and I'll film that for you guys. But yeah, it's still coming down out here. It's very nice though. I love the snow. I absolutely love snow. It's very pretty. It's just very impractical with horses because obviously it's going to turn to ice tonight, which is not something we need. But yeah, I also have to go down and see to Smoky soon because he's on a livery yard, but he is in his stable, so he's not being turned out because they they're a bit funnier, and about when you can turn out and stuff, whereas obviously this is our own land, we can do what we want. So he is actually in today, but yeah, snow. Oh, it's very cold. You big grumpster. Okay guys, so whilst I'm waiting to bring the other 3 horses in and do their nighttime routine, I'm going to go and feed some of the other animals. So we're going to go feed the pigs and the goats because they need doing. So I'll show you what they're looking like at the moment, because you've not seen them in a while either. So it's actually stopped snowing now, so it's not too bad. Yo piggies, are you hungry? And there we go. Where's yours, pig? Oh, yours is up here. Oh. You got a bit more than she did. There we go. So the pigs don't really mind the cold. They basically just stay in their sties most of winter and just come out for food and use the toilet. And that's really all they do during winter. They're not. And I don't know if you can hear or not, but we have now got a cockerel, which we didn't have before. A nice pickle. Oh, okay. So I'll leave the piggies to it and we'll go feed the goats. So here are our 3 goaties. Now, they are very fluffy because they've got their winter coats through now. Aren't you girls? You hungry? And they absolutely detest the cold. They've got so fluffy and they don't like coming out of their house because they're really not winter animals at all. So we'll go and get their food. Everything's just so cold. So this is their muesli mix that they get. And then in here just have their forage nuts. That much. Oh. And then finally they also get some garlic. And then just have a scoop of the garlic. Pop that in there. What girls? These look so big and fluffy. Come on then. Oh. Come on. So there's our 3 fatties. They are on a diet, but most of that is actually just for, because as I said, they've got very, very fluffy over the last few weeks. I actually struggle to tell them apart now. So that one's Daffodil, this one's Daisy, I think. So that one must be Dolly, I think. It's Daisy and Dolly that I get mixed up. Daffodil's easy because she's the darker one. But yeah, this one's Daisy, this is the little one, and that one's Dolly. But they're all about the same size now as well. So I'll let the girls eat that. The snow's not actually settled too much over this side. It's more in the horses' fields that it's settled. But we are forecast more snow later, so we'll see what happens. And here are the new chickens. I can't remember if I've shown you the new chickens or not, but we've rescued quite a few more. And we've got a cockerel over there as well now. You can see him. There's our cockerel. Again, they're all expatriates. They're actually some that our friend had, but she needs someone to take them on, so we've taken on some more chickens. I can't get them on this, it's too far away. How do you want caramel? Okay, so we're now heading round to the stables to feed all the horses and bring the 3 ponies and Danny in and get them all done for the night so they can be nice and snug and warm in their stables because it is pretty cold today.
So when I get round to the stables, Lucy and Chilli are already in, and it's just a case of giving them their hay nets and also giving them their feeds. So the hay nets were up first. So they'd completely eaten their hay nets from this morning, so I just took those out and put their new ones up for them. Lucy is a bit of a gannet, so she was just tucking in straight away. And then I also gave her her feed for the evening. Now we see to these 2 before we go down and see to the others, because then they're nice and calm in the stables, ready for the other horses to come in. And then it was Chilli's turn, and as always, he just has a small feed because he does have Piriton each day. So he actually has a feed 3 times a day, which is why his are so small, just because he has to have 10 Piriton in each feed for his allergies that are quite severe. So once he was eating his feed nicely, I just went and popped his hay net up as well. And there he is, all ready for the evening. So the last thing that we have to do with the 2 horses, because they've been in, is just go and poo pick their stables and just tidy them up a bit for the evening. Now Lucy had only done one because she'd not actually been in that long. So I just went and got that out of her stable and popped it on the muck heap. And then it was time to head down the field with all of the horses' feeds. So if you guys haven't watched my routine videos before, you might not know, but we kind of do it a bit of a weird way, I think. And we go down and give the horses that are out in the field their feed and their hay nets. Now this just means that they're nice and calm for when we fetch them in, because having 6 horses that all want to come in at the same time can be quite dangerous, especially because obviously normally you'd only have your one horse to bring in, and if they're quite excitable it doesn't really matter. But when you have 6 as we do, although we're only bringing 4 in at this time, it's best if we feed them in the field first, because then they're not rushing in for their tea. So I just go around and pop each horse's food in, and then my mum came down with the wheelbarrow with the hay nets in. So we also just pop a hay net on each of their fences just to keep them quiet if they do finish their feed before we are due to bring them in. So then I just went and grabbed Danny's head collar, and it was time to fetch him in first.
Danny doos.
And because Danny likes to get in his stable and roll straight away, we take his rug off before he goes in, just to save him getting shavings all over his rug. So that's what I was doing here. And once that's off, it's just straight into the stable so that he can eat his hay. And he has his hay emptied out because otherwise he likes to chew through his net. So then back to fetch the other horses in. So Charlie and Taffy come in together. So I brought Chunk in and my mum grabbed Taffy behind. And with those two, it's a lot easier because they don't have rugs on, so just pop them in their stable, give them their hay nets and pick their feet out, and that is those guys done. And last but certainly not least is little Caramel. So then it's time for her to come in, so I just grab her a hay net and her bucket that's now empty. And as you normally know, we'd normally have a race, or I normally ride her across the arena, but because it was frozen, she had to walk in nicely tonight.
I'm not running tonight.
So that's little Caramel in, and that is all of the horse in for the evening, ready to eat their hay nets and just get nice and warm in the stables.
Good girl. I got nothing. Okay guys, so that is all of the 6 horses at home in and fed, and they've had their rugs changed and everything. So they're all nice and done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to head and do Smoky for the evening, and I'll bring you guys along with me to do that obviously as well. Here's Mr. Taffy. But I'll just show you these guys. He had a good day in the snow. Taffy used to love the snow when he was younger. Don't bite me. Eat you, mate. Has Danny had a roll yet? Oh no. So Danny's trick is normally to come in and roll, so he hasn't done that yet. You'll have a nice roll later, won't you, in your shavings? Get you nice and warm. Little Caramel is looking rather wet, bless her. But it'll be nice and warm in the stables for them tonight. And you have got a full coat and quite a lot of blubber to keep you warm, haven't you, little one? Mr. Chilli Pepper. You best be sound, mister, after you tumble in the field today. And here's Lulu, she never changes. And then Mr. Stig of the Dump. Look at the state of you. Someone needs a good old groom, but every time you give him a groom, 10 minutes later, he looks like this. So that's my next job. But that's all the horses at my parents' done for the night, guys. So let's head over and see to Smoky. So guys, I've just got down to the stables and I'm going to do Smoky now. So I'll just quickly show you what I do as part of his routine during snow days when he has to spend the day in.
So the first thing I do for Smoky on an evening is I come and I pop his rug on. So I've been taking his rug off during the day because he's stabled, so he's kind of gaining a little bit of weight. So I actually keep his rug off during the day in hopes that he might burn a few calories to keep warm. And also his clip has pretty much grown out now, so he doesn't need it on during the day. So we're using his Thermatex at the moment until he can be clipped, and once he's been clipped, he'll be having his heavier weight stable rug on an evening. Then all I have to do is go and fill up his water tub so that I can top his water up, because he does actually drink a lot of water, and if the water gets to a lower level he will just pick up the bucket and empty it out all across the stable, so we don't want that. And then, just the same as the horse at home, I quickly skip him out. Now, as he has been in all day, there are always a few more poos, but there wasn't actually too much, and his bed was pretty neat and tidy, so I was quite happy with him today. And then I just head to the very frozen muck heap and chuck that on there. So this evening Smokey still had pretty much 2 full hay nets, so I didn't need to fill those up, and that was him all done for the evening. So guys, that is my horse's routine during snow days. I hope you've enjoyed it. I absolutely love the snow, so it was such a nice day to get some photos and to film for you. And I hope you've all had an amazing new year. I hope 2021 brings some fantastic things for you, and I'll see you all very soon because I will be uploading a video every single Friday, so be sure to check those out. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on that bell icon so you get a notification every single time I post. I will see you all soon. Bye guys!